Hello, everyone, and welcome to the smackATTACK. I am your host, Jimmy T, and my co-host, he's the man known as R to the B to the V. It's Rick. It's Richard Bronson Vickery, as a matter of fact. Rick, welcome to the smackATTACK, man, and sorry for the delay as I was telling you off the air, and sorry to everyone that was waiting, if you're still even here. But my stupid computer was updating, and it was a long one, dude. It took an hour. I thought it was going to take 10 minutes.
Well, this is no ordinary episode. The weekly episode, one of the first founding shows here at the Hameen Media Group. We are talking Super Bowl, Super Sunday Fun Day. So it is the Super smackATTACK. And Jimmy T, you knew exactly what you had to do to get this thing popping. You had to put out the bat signal to the playmaker, the ratings shaker, the MVP, the most valuable podcaster. Yes, it's me, that R to the B to the V, Richard Bronson Vickery. Now, Jimmy T, now I hope you know now, because before we hit play here, we discussed it, and I just mentioned it in the open. But I know you're on the other side of the planet. You're in that southern hemisphere. It's summer there. You've got no sleeves on. You're hanging out near the beach. But here in the real world, in America, we have this thing called the Super Bowl that's going on here, brother. And I'm sitting here looking at the clock like, when the hell are we going to get this show going? The big game's about to kick off, but we're still going to get the smackATTACK in. We've got some headlines to talk about, and we're going to be talking about what went down on the Blue Brand this past week.
Absolutely, and we'll try to be as quick as possible. But I do want to get your take on a particular news item. But yeah, actually, speaking of the Super Bowl. There's going to be a regular season game in my neck of the woods next year, funny enough, of the NFL, involving the LA Rams. We don't know what the other team's going to be, but I'm kind of excited, as well as an NBA game as well, and the NHL game.
Very, very cool. So a lot of global expansion, and I think that's really cool when you look at how these major forms of sports entertainment, and really you can kind of compare that to pro wrestling, and pro wrestling has led the way there when it comes to 100%. Being a global phenom and going out there and showing the major success that they can have for these stadium shows in these foreign markets. Sure, we're going to talk a little bit about the big stadium show coming up next week down there. But as you mentioned, very cool that the NFL is going to be coming down there, because I did want to pick your brain, talk a little Super Bowl before we get going. We're going to use all the time we get here as we lead people in if they're at the parties. Hey, you've been listening to the NFL, the pregame all day. Hey, so tune in. Hey, get everybody turned in onto the party here at the smackATTACK Hameen Media Group. If you're not already a follower of us, smash that subscribe, give us a follow, Absolutely. Get all those alerts there. But let me ask you, you said the Rams. So is that kind of the adopted NFL team of Australia? Is they have a large following down there? How do you guys perceive, obviously, huge numbers, going to be a massive rating here for the Super Bowl in the States, but how is our football, real football, perceived down in Australia?
It's funny because, over the years growing up, it's always been pretty popular down here, you know what I mean? But now it's more popular than ever, dude. A lot of people are really into it. You know what I mean? So for them to have come down to, to make that decision to come here, there must have been a lot of reasons for them to actually make that trip, obviously. And I'll guarantee you, it will be a sellout. They're doing it at the MCG, which holds over 100,000 people.
I was just gonna ask you, where's it at? What's the capacity?
100,012 is the capacity of this joint. So I guarantee you they'll get at least 90,000 there. And as far as the Rams go, I don't know how they gauged that. You know what I mean? And why the Rams
they're right there in LA off the our left coast, right there in the Pacific. Course. So it's an easy jump for them.
They right across the Pacific. And there you are.
You've got right. The Rams just removed a couple of years ago from a Super Bowl win. Thanks for bringing that up, as they beat my Cincinnati Bengals in that Super Bowl, which we had stolen from us. But they're a popular team, so it is cool to see them making their way down there. Now, Jimmy T, in today's game, we got the Chiefs going for a three-peat, which will make history, first time ever, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you have a favorite in today's game?
Man, I think these two are the right teams to be in the Super Bowl. I mean, both have coming off, well, the last time any other team won a Super Bowl, wasn't it the Phillies? Wasn't it Philadelphia?
Well, these two teams met a couple years ago, but no,
when did the Eagles win
The Chiefs bettered them. The Chiefs bettered them. The last team to win, the last other team to win a Super Bowl would have been the Rams again when they beat the Bengals. But thanks for bringing that up again.
when did the Eagles win it? They won it before that one. Then before the Rams won it.
That's going back quite a bit. When they they bested the Patriots.
Wow, it feels like it was just yesterday.
No, that was before this entire regime. That was some time ago.
Oh wow, so we're going back a few years then.
This is actually the first time in Eagles history that the head coach and the quarterback Hurts that they've had a head coach and a quarterback in multiple Super Bowls. So a little bit of history, some fun numbers there, but not to dwell too much on the Super Bowl. Is we got some wrestling stuff to get here and the Blue Brand. But hey, Jimmy T, you know what I'm bringing to the table. We're talking some stats, some facts. How about a little hashtag RBV eats out Super Bowl talk here? Let's talk. Hey, because we got these parties going on, man, and it's all about the love for the grub. Before we get to the gridiron, which I think is kind of cool today here in the States. I know you're a time traveler, a day ahead of us there.
It's a Monday over here, man.
It's still Sunday, February 9th here, which also happens to be National Pizza Day here in the States.
What?
Which is crazy that it falls on Super Bowl Sunday.
That's awesome.
This is it traditionally. Anyway, Super Bowl itself is the second biggest eating day in America, second to Thanksgiving for food consumption.
Second to Thanksgiving.
Yes, and the Super Bowl Sunday. Yep, but Thanksgiving's number one, Super Bowl number two for food consumption here in the States, and it is the busiest day for pizza takeout delivery. 12.5 million pizza pies will be ordered today here in the States for the Super Bowl. Some other fun foodie facts there. Americans will buy and consume 139.4 million pounds of avocados for that guacamole and those other side dishes there. To wash all that down, a few tasty adult beverages there. Beer consumption. Americans will drink 325.5 million gallons of beer today.
Fuck. That is nuts. That is nuts.
325.5 million gallons of beer. For those not drinking beer, Americans are going to spend 2.37 million on soda.
That makes sense.
That's a lot to drink there. Let me ask you here, Jimmy, when it comes to the chips and dips, man, are you a potato chip guy or a tortilla chip guy?
Oh, nah, I'm a potato chip guy, man. I don't really like tortillas, man. Like, I don't mind. See, I used to love Doritos, for example, right? But I'm so over Doritos. So
Taco Doritos are my favorite, man. Taco flavored Doritos are my favorite.
Taco flavored. I love the Mexican flavored ones, man. Like
that's probably the same thing. But tortilla chips.
They call it here, so yeah.
Tortilla chips are going to be. They're going to consume 8.2 million pounds of the nacho chips. Now this might be the game changer, because you might be swaying them here. 11.2 million pounds of potato chips.
Holy shit.
That's a lot. And then how about one more? One of my favorites. Man, I consume these like crazy, but they are expensive, man. Chicken wings, 1.3 billion wings today.
Holy shit. I love chicken wings, bro.
How do you do yours, man? What's Jimmy T's? You get to order in a perfect world your perfect chicken wing. How do you do it?
That's a good question.
How do you first of all, how do you like them cooked?
I love them marinated, first of all, with probably barbecue sauce or ranch sauce, man. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, to me,
my favorite.
Smoked, there's a place here they do them smoked and grilled. Love it like that. I usually get mine naked and then some sauce on the side for dipping.
Right. Yeah, me too. I'd rather that too. But I don't mind them marinated, though. But even honey sauce on chicken is pretty good, man, as well.
Like real honey.
Well, yeah, it's real honey, but I don't know. They probably like make it a little bit different to the actual, honey that you'd put on whatever, like on toast.
I think that'd be
whatever,
good.
right?
I like honey because, like, when I get chicken nuggets, go to a fast food, I always ask for honey, but the sons of bitches always give me honey mustard because it's weird to find a place that
I hate
actually
honey
carries like
mustard.
real honey packets.
Yeah, nah, fuck that. But with say McDonald's, right, with the nuggets, I'd rather get sweet and sour sauce, for example, with it. But KFC barbecue sauce is pretty good, though. I don't mind that out of the fucking junk food.
If I go to KFC, I just get a side of gravy and dip everything in that.
The chicken is. I can tell you some stories about KFC, but maybe I shouldn't. But you know what I mean. Joseph says to me, where is that? Let me just get that up quickly. He says, Jimmy T, one of our best players is Aussie. Did you know that? I've heard, but I didn't know that. Is he a punter? Because usually most of the Aussie players are punters. You know what I mean? And that makes total sense because, of our style of football, we kick the damn thing. You know what I mean? All the time. As a matter of fact, we've brought our own style of punting into the US where now most players are doing it, like the drop punt. I don't know if you know what that is, Rick, but basically when you kick the ball on the pointy side of the ball and the ball goes like this, instead of like kicking on the side so you get that torpedo effect, you kick it like on the pointy side and it's a straight kick.
There we go.
Yeah.
The Aussie influence on American football, baby. There we go. Jimmy T, we were talking about how cool it is to see the global expansion for these big sports leagues and really kind of leading the way there with pro wrestling. Globally, where would you measure? Let's say, obviously, you got the big events, like the World Cup, the Olympics, Super Bowl. Where would you measure something as big as WrestleMania amongst them? Those big
shit. I'm glad.
I mean, where would you weigh them? I mean, obviously, the ratings are going to show here. It globally is going to be insane. A lot of that's going to be domestic here in the States for this Super Bowl. But I think what's cool about, especially with wrestling and WWE in particular, is even those mid-carders are big-time celebrities, even in the most remote reaches of the world.
It's crazy, dude. Like for me. And look, I might be a bit biased, but no shit, I don't think I am because I do truly think that WrestleMania has become one of the biggest global events in the world. And you know what, dude? I would even, and this is talking a little too big now, but I feel like, for example, the Olympics are not as big as it used to be, even compared to the World Cup. I think the World Cup has become the premier event in the world, in my opinion. But I think WrestleMania, you got to put it right up there, man. Possibly top 5. I mean, honestly, like I know that sounds crazy, but think about it, man. And the global reach that WrestleMania has even got, and the amount of people that come from everywhere, all over the world, just to go to WrestleMania, I think is a phenomenon in itself, dude. I mean, it's got to be up there. Even with the amount of money they make on those 2 nights is ridiculous, especially considering how much they're charging for tickets right now, dude. Which is an arm and a leg, and people are still selling them out.
And I think it speaks to as a society, mainly the Western society, but it just is. As humans, we enjoy spectacles, and pro wrestling is such a grand spectacle that offers such a variety of forms of entertainment under one crazy circus tent. But I think it would be fair to maybe say top 5 global sports entertainment attractions. The WWE could get right into that 5 or 4 spot. I think the World Cup itself it is number 1. I think the Olympics is probably still got to be up there. I think what makes something
Olympics, to be fair.
What makes something so unique about, and I do agree. I think the allure, that shine on the diamond of the Olympics has kind of faded over the last couple games.
Look, maybe it's just us, you know what I mean? But because it's more amateur-based compared to pros, except for, say, basketball, pretty much, and that's the biggest thing to me when it comes to Olympics.
So you like the amateur, or you're kind of against it?
I'd rather see it. I think for them, if they want to survive as like one of the premier events, why not go full blown professional with all the sports in it, including boxing, including okay, basketball's like that, tennis is like that, but even soccer, for example, is not fully professional. It's always the under 23s. You know what I mean?
Okay, so a lot of those I don't pay attention, and I enjoy a little bit of the seeing the amateurs and these people in the offbeat kind of events that that you don't typically get the the limelight that they get that shine, and they do get to come alive ever how many years? What do we rotate now? Every I think there's 4, but we cycle them every 2, so you get winter and summer, so they're not competing against one another.
The Winter Olympics is nowhere near up there, I think, though, compared to say the Summer Olympics.
No, because you just don't have that same reach. You're kind of,
exactly.
A lot of the countries just can't compete. The South American countries aren't. You guys? I mean, do you guys have a lot of winter representation or anything?
In winter, nah, not really.
Right. So it's not as
those type of sports.
Yeah, so you're not really getting that summer draw. But I think what makes something so special, like the Super Bowl and WrestleMania, which of course now is a 2-night, but it's condensed. Where the World Cup and the Olympics are spread out over 2 weeks. Right. So and it gives more people an opportunity to get in there. So it has a bigger draw around the globe. You have an opportunity for higher ratings, advertising revenue, all of that, but still something very, very cool inside of itself.
And before we get into the wrestling part of things, and when I say WrestleMania, look, I'll be fair. It's probably top 10, right? Maybe top 5 is stretching a little bit.
I think it's fine. I think it'd be a fun conversation to have to see where something like WrestleMania ranks amongst the standout sports and entertainment events globally.
But as far as global reach goes, professional wrestling, and especially during the 80s, I think, to be fair, the reach, like Hulk Hogan, say what you will about the Hulkster brother, but I'm telling you now, at one point, he was as big as Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. And when I say that, I'm talking about you could have taken him anywhere around the world, even Afghanistan and places like that, India, whatever, right? Iraq. Doesn't matter. Even if they don't watch wrestling, they know the name Hulk Hogan. Do you know what I mean?
Now, would they boo him all over the world now? But you got to think, Hulk Hogan was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. But when you look at the face that ran the place during global expansion, that comes under the Cena era. I mean, Cena went out and learned Mandarin just so he could go there and do, press releases as they're getting to head into these new markets. And now you look, what was a big part of the networks, the Netflix deal was so that they could stream live at the same time. There were no delays for the entire world, which is something that is so cool. Obviously, the NFL setting crazy records, crazy numbers with their streaming deals. But for the WWE to land a deal like that offers 52 weeks a year,
crazy, man.
Original new content that everybody, you can tune in at the same time. We can watch that live. It's something very, very cool. And is a trailblazer set by professional wrestling.
Absolutely, man. And it's crazy, man. And WWE now, the just those 3 letters itself has become so big that I don't know if any wrestler is actually like bigger than the company anymore. It's those 3 letters now that's been strapped with the rocket ship, and which is probably the better way to do it anyway.
Jargo and I have gone round and round about this. When exactly that became important, he thinks it was maybe a little bit later, Attitude Era, Rock, Austin.
Nah,
I take it. I take it back earlier. I think Vince McMahon, in his mind, was just dead determined. After Hulk Hogan defected, left the company and went to WCW, and now this far second place pony in the race is starting to compete with you. And it's not because of WCW. It's because of the Hulkamania brand. The Hulkamania brand itself rivaled the WWF at the time. And Vince 100%. Didn't ever want that to happen again. He did not want a superstar to be above him and his brand. So even then, he held, I think at times, Austin and Rock back from
You think he
getting
held
to
Austin
that
back?
Hulkamania level where
You think so?
he needed them. I mean, they were the top dogs. They were doing magnificent numbers. It was,
Absolutely.
our Attitude Era, arguably the hottest time over the Rock and Wrestling. But their individual brands, the Smoke and Skull, the Brahma Bull, were, I don't think, as big as Hulkamania on its own.
No way,
And
man. There's no chance.
Cena never got to touch that level. He was a huge name. He opened incredible doors for the company, was a great ambassador, a great face that ran the place. But still, they knew then no one can be bigger than the brand itself. And they intentionally held those people down. I wouldn't say held them down, but just, maneuvered things in that direction. Hey, I always tell, a lot, working on the indies with people, when you're sending me promos, things like that, make sure you say our full name. When I was working with PWA, don't say our acronym. Say Professional Wrestling Alliance. Even if you're AEW, don't say AEW. Say All Elite Wrestling. There is only one wrestling company in this world that can use an acronym that people know what the hell you're
WWE.
talking about, and it's WWE. If I just have to say, hey, if someone asks me, hey, what are you doing tonight? I'll go home and watch AEW. They're going to think that might be a television network. They don't know what the hell All Elite Wrestling is, But
Yeah, for
you
sure.
say pro wrestling, people say, oh, WWE or WWF. Those old school
WWF. A lot
people.
of people still,
Yeah.
right. A lot of people still say WWF, man. It's true. Absolutely true. Well, you know what? Let's get into some news before we do kick into SmackDown, because I need to ask you this. I probably won't elaborate too much on this because I just spoke about it.
I know you and Vet. I know you want to talk about the releases, and Vet broke
Exactly.
down, name by name, individual by individual. Did a great job. If you missed that, make sure you go back and check out this week's Wreckage. Jimmy T and Vet had a great conversation, and as always, man, Vet, one of the most brilliant minds. Underappreciated minds in the podcast game, in the wrestling world, just dropping straight knowledge. The Vet, one of the best out there.
He is very underappreciated. I tell him that too, man. 100%, man. And I feel like, I know for a fact, if anyone new that checks out our shows, and I'm talking about all of us as a collective, would love our shows. You know what I mean? It's just finding us. If you find us, I know we'll keep you there, right? And because there's a lot of garbage out there. I can't stand a lot of garbage wrestling podcasts. They get absolutely numbers. And I think to myself, how do these fools make it so big? And I'm not hating on it, but I'm just saying that, each to their own. But when I feel like we could be so much bigger and better, like in terms of going up against a lot of these wrestling podcasts, and for you to say about the Vet, like he's a gem, dude. That's, we're grateful to have him here, right here at HMG, and of course channelattitude.com. And he really is underrated in terms of people knowing him. You know what I mean? Like who he is and what he does and what he used to do. And I just want him to get his flowers. That's why I call him the best in the world. And he's running with it too now, which I love seeing, because he was never that type to say that. You know what I mean? So I'm actually happy that he actually does that.
Yeah, he broke them down, perfectly, talent by talent, really laid it out there. And I think one of the biggest points that he shared, that the Vet shared, that I want to echo, as I was prepping for, our sit down here today, we look at that list of individuals, and top to bottom, they weren't being used on television. And we didn't hear anybody saying, hey, where are they? Why aren't they being used? We didn't hear about any of these talents through the IWC across the board. I'm regularly checking out a number of groups. If you're ever on the X, nobody was crying, clamoring for where are these talents at. But it's amazing. Every time we get releases, they happen every year. At that time, everyone acts like they're so upset. This was their favorite superstar. Why weren't they better utilized? Nah. This is part of the game. It is part of the business. I think maybe the only thing that's a little surprising is that we got these in quarter 1 instead of waiting till the post WrestleMania. But, there's so much change in the company with TKO taking over, them joining forces, through Endeavor with the UFC. And this is probably just, trimming some fat here to really help those first quarter numbers, especially, with the big switch to the Netflix. The new deal with NBC Universal, all this global expansion that we just talked about. So, instead of just having these people sitting on the sidelines, sitting at home, getting their paycheck through this WrestleMania season, let's just get that ball rolling. And there's a lot of things we don't know about these contracts. There might have just
Yeah.
been a lot of fat, that, hey, let's cut some money here. One thing that I did see, you guys, in the Sonya Deville, her cut's a little different. They're going to let her contract run its course,
Oh, really?
then and expire. But so it's kind of weird. So I don't know if she'll have like the full 90 days that we see with most of them before they can go anywhere.
Well, interesting. Well, we got some late breaking news, it seems, thanks to Labrat. But apparently, Electra Lopez was also released earlier today, which is surprising to me because wasn't she with Legado del Fantasma?
Oh, okay, yeah. So she was on the SmackDown.
Right. What's going on here?
She had the segment there to set up a match with the Guns, correct?
I think so.
Was that her?
If I remember correctly. But
those guys set up a tag match for next week. Yeah, and here's another part about this. Until you actually told me who she was, I don't know. We look at some of the girls that got cut there with Isla, or a lot of these people are getting cut are interchangeable parts. They're clogs in a machine, as we just talked about. No one being bigger than the brand. They're creator wrestlers. Cedric Alexander,
literally.
Tremendous talent, right? Vet laid it out perfectly. Indie wrestler prototype 101, but a good-looking dude, very athletic, in shape. Guess what? There's about a dozen of him on the shelf inside of that company, either in NXT, inside the Performance Center. They're ready to go. They're ready to reload and just bring out another prototype just like him to get moving forward. Now, do you think out of all these cuts, he might be the safest to land on his feet with a nice deal with his boys over in the Hurt Syndicate? Well, if MVP can go get him a deal over there, slide him right into AEW. The other ones, I don't really know where they go. Maybe the Good Brothers should go back to Japan.
Anyway, either Japan, TNA, AEW, but they seem to be trouble everywhere they go. It looks like, except for Japan.
I think here's something to be interesting. Now that we've got the deal between WWE and TNA, how many of these cuts from WWE resurface it? Like, is that like it's a no-no, or hey, why don't you guys sign them at a lesser deal and maybe use them on your television, and maybe we can do something with the crossover here or there? Or is it
Well, it depends. I mean, they seem to be cool in TNA every time they've been there, especially Gallows. But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. I wonder if that even affects him signing with TNA, because the thing is, we all know, and I'm sure you do, Anderson's very friggin' vocal usually when not being used. He's not afraid to sort of speak up about his predicaments, if you know what I mean. He never really said anything here or recently, but the last run he really bashed the company, and I was surprised they brought him back because of that. But then again, they didn't even do anything with these guys, to be fair.
Well, I don't think there was. Where did he put them? I know you and Vet talked about earlier the state of the WWE tag team division, and
that's another issue.
And Vet said, it is rather weak at this time, but that's one of the areas, for all the praise that Triple H gets, when he took the reins from Vince with the creative control, the talent relations, whatever the case might be, they are still underutilizing and basically not focusing on their tag division.
It's true, man. And that's why it's surprising that they would actually release them right now, because of how weak this tag division is in WWE on both ends.
I don't think the Good Brothers are going to help bolster that division. There's a lot of other options inside of there. Those guys have been sitting at home. It might have been contracts that people forgot were in existence. Like, wait a minute, they start going through the files. They're like, we're still paying these guys? And I got a lot of love for the Machine Gun. He cut his teeth here in Cincinnati. Trained
He's from Cincinnati, isn't he?
Trained here at the NWF, the Northern Wrestling Federation, under Roger Ruffin. His beautiful wife, known as Big Mama, who wrestles currently, is with the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. She is their women's television champion. And I have the honor and privilege. I get to work with her each and every year. We are rocking and rolling right now on our local all-women's pro wrestling show, our Revolution Rising, Grit and Glamour.
Nice.
I just talked to her last night. She's recovering today from a big show they had last night, but she's doing amazing things. They're an awesome local wrestling family here with the Northern Wrestling Federation. They've been running weekly shows here for indie shows for like 30 years. They're the ones that turned me on to indie wrestling. I started going to their shows in high school back in the 90s, and it's cool that I get to work with them a little bit.
Oh, the good old 90s, man. I wish we were back there. That's when I was in high school last too, for God damn it. Why you remind me of my age? But anyway, well, our very own Colin Weissong is in the house, and he says, and this one's for you, he says, RBV, I got something in commons with Big Ray today. We're going to put a bunch of meat in our mouths.
Yeah.
He loves meat,
big meat problems today. Hey, in honor of Philly, when we wrap things up here, probably about halftime, I'll be sinking my teeth into there, treating those taste buds. I got a big old Philly cheesesteak on the ordered for delivery here. As the Chiefs and Eagles, the captains, make their way out to midfield as our live record for the coin flip. Here, bud. But yeah, these cuts, I think the most interesting thing is they're happening in quarter one. Are we going to get another rush of them that we usually do after WrestleMania? Are we going to get some more here on the road to WrestleMania?
Well,
so
like I said,
none of them really surprised me, and I don't think there are going to be people that any of us are going to miss. I think what was the other one, DeVille. A lot of people thought came out of nowhere, but again, as Vet said earlier, what has she done on air? She had a nice little run in that co-GM kind of spot, the best work that she had done, but I think she was one of those talents that was kind of dead on arrival. She really appears on the scene, and her thing is that she kind of has that legit MMA combat sport background, but then gets introduced right around the same time as Shayna Baszler's making that badass run in NXT, and the company signs Ronda Rousey. You are immediately becoming that third wheel, taking a major backseat.
Well, she's not on their level in MMA, put it that way. Like, not even on Baszler's level, and definitely not on friggin' Ronda Rousey's level, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So it is what it is with her.
Well, is anyone else you want to speak about, or should we just get into SmackDown?
Well, I did. There was a little bit of news that came out that I want to ask you because I've been listening to you guys talk about it over the couple of weeks here. The big stadium show coming up next week, and a lot of people, the talking heads, the pros, the legend podcasters, talking about what a mess it has been for AEW trying to promote and get this show off the ground. The Grand Slam down in Australia. You're one of the troops with your boots on the ground down there. What's the word in Australia about? I mean, are you excited to have a big show like this, or is it just the confusion's just as deep there as everywhere?
Angry. People are pissed, and I'll tell you why. I just found this out right after we did the wreckage, ironically. So get this. The people that bought tickets initially at the start, early, right? At the stadium show, because they moved from stadium to an arena now, right? I don't know if you realize that.
Oh, okay. So we did downgrade there. Okay, so what's the difference in our capacity here?
You want to really know?
So this is like WrestleMania 9 from going or whatever, WrestleMania 8, 7, 8, 9, whatever the hell they had to move.
7 going on. It was WrestleMania 7 that they changed.
Yes.
From the LA Coliseum stadium, whatever it was, to the arena. But anyway. No, get this. So we went from a 65,000 seated stadium to a 13,000 seated arena, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So get this.
Okay.
Get this. So the people that bought front row tickets, for example, initially early, right, for the stadium show, obviously their tickets is going to be, rolled over to the arena, right? Mm-hmm. But get this, so one dude paid for front row. He paid over $700 for this ticket, right? I think it was like just maybe the third row or fourth row from the front. And you know where they've put him in the arena? 20 rows back.
Well, how does that work? I mean, just because of how they had to shrink everything down to...
I have no idea, and that's what they're wondering.
You know what? I have no sympathy whatsoever in my heart and soul for any dumbass that paid $700 or more to go sit front row at one of these things.
They're charging actually a lot more. So for front row seating at the start. It was like over it was over $1,000, dude. But you know what else is fucked up though? The people that bought tickets late since they've moved to the arena, they were doing 2-for-1 deals, right, and half price.
Got the BOGO.
The front row. Yeah, exactly. The typical AEW fucking promo. Those guys are getting the front rows, right, for dirt cheap, while the guys that paid top dollar that was initially like near the front are getting screwed and getting pushed all the way to the back. So a lot of people are saying basically after this show, we're never following, like they're not going to watch AEW ever again. That's how pissed off they are, dude. And apparently there is no promotion. Look, I'm all the way on the other end of Australia, same, like on the East Coast, same coast. But where the show's being held is up in the northern part of Australia. I'm on the southern coast of Australia. So I'm on the other side, but same side of the coast. And that's another thing. They should fire their marketing team, okay? Let's be real. You don't debut.
I'm not even sure they have one. I actually reached out to them when they were coming here to Cincinnati. Just I helped out at the time Impact Wrestling TNA. We packed that place. I've helped run local shows. I've run a number of local events here. I've got ties in with our local media. I was ready to help them. I just to get some experience, get my name out there. When they came here locally about a month ago, they got nothing back, and they only sold like 1,500 tickets in Moxley's hometown, in the champ's hometown.
Wow, that's crazy. And I just want to point out, Scotty Woodford, you're the man, dude. Thank you.
My voice guy, he is the man. Hey, he's fresh off the boat. He was on the Jericho cruise, man. I haven't got to catch up with him yet. I saw some of the photos he was sharing. Got to meet some awesome people. He's been on every cruise, so he's got some great connections there. Yeah. And he's got some great stories. I sat down with him before the Buckeyes Championship game. Me and him did a little stream just talking about his experience with the cruise and all that. But very cool guy to chat with.
As a matter of fact, he'll be on next week, right? On the smackATTACK. And of course, I'm going to ask him all about his trip, the Jericho cruise. And of course, get well soon, Scotty, because he obviously contracted, the C word. Hopefully you're feeling better, buddy. Not that C though. I'm talking about, the one with the C to the V, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Hopefully he's getting better. Join you next week. I might do a run in with you guys there. Hey, to clear some things up, because I know that you've been trying to follow and make sense of when the hell this thing is supposed to air, especially here in the States. So it looks like it is going to be next Saturday. They're going to replace Collision for the week with this thing. But for our American audience, it's going to air immediately following the NBA All-Star Weekend coverage.
So live, dude.
Hopefully live. It might not have been that great of a draw. Hopefully they get a lot of that leading, because that's going to be Saturday night. So you're going to have things like the slam dunk competition, the 3-point challenge, the celebrity game. I believe they have like the futures game, all of that. So it's going to be the big hype, fun night, the party night for the NBA All-Star Weekend, and then lead into this Grand Slam. What's funny to me though I was looking through some of the info with the NBA challenge night, the fun night there. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, shares a network. They're going to get lead in from the NBA. Shares a network with the NBA. Guess how much AEW representation is being advertised as part of that weekend?
Well, before I answer that, initially zero. Well, they used to promote him, dude. I remember how many times, I'm talking about 3-4 years ago, they would actually promote AEW a fair bit, especially when they first started. But now, as you said, they don't give a shit. Why should they?
Well, WWE is going to be there. I know at least Bayley is in the celebrity game. So really? She's the hometown girl there in San Francisco. She's going to be representing in the celebrity basketball game. So she'll be there. I'm willing to bet the WWE has some other representation there. And as I'm not sure who pointed that out there, but NXT's got a premium live event next week.
Game Woofers. Thank you, man. Yeah, Vengeance Day in DC.
Yeah, Vengeance Day in DC was January 20th when the Trumpsters took it back over, but I guess NXT is going to do their version of it coming up next week.
I'm going to give you one of these ones for that one. And it's the same night as Gam said, yeah, look, it will look good on TV because most of the arena is sold out, nearly, just about. And if it isn't, there's about 2,000 seats left. You know what I mean? To buy. So it could get sold out on the day.
I hope Tony Khan worked out a deal or just personally bought a ton of advertising space during Saturday to let people know, stick around afterwards. We got this unique brand of they're calling theirs the new era of fight or something, the new age of fight. But check out All Elite Wrestling. Hopefully they have something that leads in. I know they're on the other side of the world. Leave some people here. They should have done something to incorporate, to try to grab those basketball fanatics or people just checking it out to be checking it out. We'll see how it goes. You guys are going to make sense of it all as you do each and every week. Saturday, the hardest working duo at HMG to sit down there and just work your way through all that All Elite wreckage.
Oh, dude, we have to sift through a lot of that wreckage. I love that catchphrase because it's so true. You know what I mean? But in saying that, though, I guess that was the main news, and I just hope it's going to be embarrassing for AEW next week. I feel it. I bet you TNT, is not going to even advertise anything, and that just should tell you where they stand with the damn network, honestly, and how much they really give a shit about them. It will be telling if they don't advertise at all. It'll be very telling, but we'll see.
Well, we will see. Be interesting with all these big commercials right now. The game is underway. A couple minutes into the first quarter. It would have been interesting. Tony Khan, he's got all that money. Shad, I saw his father's got his yacht. This thing is unbelievable. You can check that out on social media. It's down there in New Orleans, parked for Super Bowl weekend. Buy some advertising. They should have bought some advertising. Run some AEW ads during the Super Bowl. Get it out there. But hey, they think they're over. They think they're over.
Yeah, in Tony's head, they're over. That's what I mean. What's wrong with this guy? I don't get it. Yeah. And Scotty, once again, thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate it. But what's with these fools? They're just anyway. I can talk about AEW all day, but we're here to talk SmackDown and just like I said before, the Super Bowl has started, and I don't want to hold everybody back from not watching it, but then again, I'm sure you can watch.
Yeah, I'm sure we got a lot of people choosing us, waiting for us to wrap up so they can turn the game on. But
absolutely. But let's get into SmackDown, shall we? Because we're coming live from, where were we? From Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee, baby. The king of Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, this week, this was a unique week for me, getting back into the groove of some professional wrestling. I watched at least a little bit of every show that was on this week, not just WWE, AEW. I watched a little TNA last night. Drifting off to sleep, I even caught some women of wrestling. So I was full on you and vet mode this week, watching a lot of wrestling. So I do want to say before we jump into this episode of the Blue Brand, man, across the board, we need a visionary. And not that freaking Seth Rollins. We need a true visionary, someone with the resume, the skills of our own. His name's on the door. Ben Hameen, someone that comes from that stage, that knows theater, that knows the foundations, what works in professional. We need to reimagine how professional wrestling is presented going into 2025 and going forward. It basically has been the same format since the Attitude Era. And what I mean by that is, when you and I started watching the 80s, right. You got, there was a different with the stage shows, the territories was presented a certain way. Vince and his expansion, you had the pre-record era, but then you had, the backstage vignettes are different because they would cut different ones for the different areas. And, you always cut backstage for the interviews. And then we went to the in-rings because you got to entertain and energize that live audience. But nowadays we are getting just far too many, just beyond boring, channel changing in-ring conversation segments. Too many people that don't need a microphone. And it's almost to the point that those that are good on the microphone, it's just becoming so repetitive. They're all saying the same exact shit. And it is absolutely killing brand. We still need the storytelling. We still need the characters. We just need to reimagine how we're presenting those things. We need to implement some of these strategies that we're seeing from reality TV or these hit dramas and start recording and a different strategizing, how we're presenting these things. I don't exactly know the answer. I just know it has to change there.
They're cheering. They're clapping for you there, Rick. It's true.
Yes.
I agree with you. 100%, man. 100%. But how we go about that, I'm not sure yet. But
I've got some ideas, but like I said, I don't have that formal training there that would take somebody, maybe a Hameen and a Russo with Stevie sitting down and laying it out there. But, I've had the conversations with Hameen about it. And, I think, we should see something more that looks like the streaming series Heels. Where we can see these guys still in character, still kayfabing it, but it looks like they're in their real lives. Show us what's happening, things away from the arena. And to me, I think as we evolve, and I always hate that when people say, "Oh, kayfabe's got to die. It's got to be dead." I want to talk about when we get into the show here as well, but it doesn't have to be dead. It just has to be allowed to evolve. You can use social media to keep that thing going. You can use real life, twist and turn those interactions, blur those lines to really sell that. And I think that's the next big hit, the next big boom for pro wrestling. It desperately needs a remake, a remodeling of how it's presented because it's just beyond boring. It's kind of cheesy and embarrassing to show people sometimes when you just got these guys out there on the microphone.
Bad.
Well, I was watching this first, and I hate to admit this. On my years on this planet, 45 years, and it's the first time that I ever watched Goodfellas. The classic mafia. Yeah. First time I was just last week. And one of the things that really stood out to me is, where he gets out of his car, walks right across the street and just starts beating the living shit out of that dude, man. Just pistol whipping his shit out of him because he harassed his girl.
That in that movie, bro.
Yeah. So to me, I'm sitting there and my mind immediately goes, if this was pro wrestling, they each would have stood in their driveway and cut 30-minute promos on each other. But no, I mean, it was it was a man acting like a man and throwing down because you touched this woman, you pissed him off, and he was coming to get his. Pro wrestling, what would that would have been? 30-minute promo, and then challenged them to a bull rope match 2 weeks from now.
Dude, no, what YouTube game? Damn. That's crazy.
Hey, I would suggest it, dude. I was hooked. I was hooked, man. I couldn't turn away.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies. I watched it, pretty much back when it came out. So, and I've watched it a million times, but spoiler warnings, Labrat says. That's funny. But yeah, man, I love that movie. It's one of the best. But you're right. The thing that we're missing today in today's professional wrestling, honestly, we got no men. We got no men's men anymore, dude. Compared to the 80s. Right, and then you compare it now, and really the 90s was that beginning of that sort of happening, if you know what I mean. And then once we got into the 2000s, there was no where's your man's man type of guy these days, man? It doesn't exist. It's all everyone's a softie, dude. They're all soft cocks, bro. You know what I mean? Like we say here, they got no balls anymore. They've all been clipped.
Yeah, it's so watered down. They're so afraid to push any envelopes. But back to a point, we got to change we've got to find a new look. Give it, call up, whoever Charlotte Flair is using, call them, get a completely plastic remake here. But let's jump into that blue brand there, Jimmy. Let's jump into it.
We'll jump in. But like Labrat says, hey, AEW has Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
That's a man's man right there if I ever saw one.
Yeah, he's got the physique of my 7-year-old nephew.
And he's got jaundice too, or some shit like that. But anyway, let's get into SmackDown, as you said, though, Rick, because where's my notes now, damn it? As I said, we were coming from Memphis, Tennessee, TNA country, originally anyway. And we started
home of the king, Jerry Lawler. Got a little shout out.
Too.
Yep.
Absolutely. But we start the show with main event Jey Uso, Rick, who, as usual, is his entrance is incredibly over because, to me, it's all about his entrance. But he spends several minutes soaking in the adoration of the crowd and generally enjoying the moment. He says he had a hell of a week and a lot of love from family, friends, and fans in the wake of winning the 2025 Royal Rumble. He says he's here to pick a champion and mentions his visit to Raw to see Gunther and says it's only right that he came here to SmackDown and meet up with his dog, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Enter Cody Rhodes. He gets in the ring, and basically they're kissing each other's backsides. And I'm not going to go into it completely, but basically says, make no mistake, he's not here to drop the title to anybody. Otherwise, the story was all for nothing. But then we see the Samoan werewolf in Jacob Fatu and, of course, Tama Tonga. Fatu gets on the mic and says, last year, Cody took the title from his family, but as of now, his family needs that title back, and everybody understands that if someone from his family is going to take that title back, everybody knows it's now Jay's ass. And then a brawl breaks out, and Jacob has him set up. Jay cuts him off with a super kick, and then a Cody cutter connects, and the heels are sent packing. Rick, what do you think of this opening segment? I'm loving Jacob Fatu. The more he talks on the mic, man, he's so intriguing on the mic. He just sounds like a total badass on the mic. And he doesn't even stall, dude. He's not nervous, not worried. He just kills it on the mic every time lately, dude. And I'm liking it as far as he's concerned, though.
I like Fatu. It's very unique in his presentation. That is something that stands out in his delivery. You know, it doesn't come off as that rehearsed. It is a different, and you can
not at all.
He sounds vicious in it. There is something special about him. Back to Jay. I know there's been a lot of great debate if there was an audible, if he was the right call for the Rumble there. No, the dude has been putting in the work. He has been on fire.
Doubt.
You mentioned the entrance is such a big part of his popularity, but hey, that's part of the total package in wrestling. You know, you got to be able to move merch. You got to get that audience energized. And when it comes to going and getting down in that ring, it not necessarily always the style that I prefer, but it gets over. It works. Particularly like how they open the shows with him. You know, you're right there on the veranda. You got all the fans hyped up. That's inside of itself. That's something small in the marketing that tells people at home, hey, I want to be there. You know, there's a chance, you can get involved, something like that. It is fun. That thing, his entrance in a big, high-profile match, whichever direction they go with him, is going to be amazing visual for WrestleMania. And to have it be, again, in a big profile match, just not some match against his brother that I thought they wasted last year, but they could have done something so cool. High profile. The segment itself, Jay coming out, making the rounds. Thankfully, he didn't, he held back on the waterworks that we saw Monday. I know that Ben and Vince, Mr. Russo, were getting on him about that. I'm okay with emotion inside of pro wrestling. But to me, it was the wrong timing for it. The waterworks. That would be just like as we're sitting here. I'm sitting here watching the Super Bowl. That would have been like Kansas City or Philadelphia having a parade for winning the AFC and the NFC. The story's not complete. The mission is not over, bro. Save the waterworks for when you get the big one done the night after the show, after WrestleMania, when you actually deliver and win a championship. That's when you show that emotion. That's when you tell that story. But these fans like, he's just overcome. He's worked his whole life for this. It's been pointed out. I believe it was over on the Russo brand. I got the clip of it that. No, this dude's third generation. There's a lot of this that has been afforded to him. These doors have been opened because of who he is. I'm not going to hate on somebody for being born on second or third base.
He's a Nepo baby. It is what it is. He's good, though. I'm not saying he's bad.
Right. You still got to take the ball and run with it. But, we in this segment here, Cody comes out. You get the baby faces putting each other over. This could have been cut in half, and got the same point, been a lot more effective. I like the Fatu coming out. Tonga's going to be there. He's going to be the whooping boy in this thing. But we do get our we get our main event set up. Cut it in half, and it's an effective segment.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And you know what? I said on the I Like It Raw show with myself and Big Ray right here exclusively on HMG.
You like it raw with yourself?
No, that's what the show's called. Like I like it.
I know what the show's called. Duh.
But what I was trying to get at is that I think he was crying because he was literally gassed out. It's like he forgot his words for a moment on Monday night. And then he probably started crying because it's like, I don't know what to say, you know what I mean? Or blah, blah, blah. Obviously, only fucking around. I was only joking. But like everybody says in the chat, and including yourself, finish your damn story first, because no guarantee he's going to win that world championship. Don't be surprised if Gunther still gets the win, man.
I think that's his best option. I think that's where they're going to go. That is the best option. And I would maybe put Jay over there.
Would you? Are you sure about that?
I would have to. It's got to be the conversation. I think because again, simply going back to the visuals in a moment, you look at that family, you look at just this moment of history inside of pro wrestling, and the long shot. It was a dark horse for someone like Jay. Of all those greats in that lineage, how many years were the Usos even in WWE with great tag team runs before they were even on a WrestleMania card? Not pre-show, but actually on a card. It took them years to get to that point.
No, 100%.
And these guys were supposed to be second fiddles, just there, the backup players to Roman. He likes it raw with Ray, baby. Everybody loves it raw with Ray. There we go. That should be the new. That is the new. That should be the new. We should rebrand it. Everyone loves it raw with Ray. And Jimmy T, we'll give you like a little small billing there at the bottom.
Yeah, we're givers, not takers, just quietly.
the craziest thing I've seen out there is that they should have Jey Uso stop by TNA and maybe challenge Joe Henry. That is
TNA.
That is a bunch of just idiots that don't understand the business of this thing or how that's going to operate. But I do like he says he's got some unfinished business with Gunther, so there is some history there. I don't know who would put over. Don't know if I really actually care who would go over there. I know it would be an incredible visual. Great going forward. Some graphics marketing stuff with the heats that would be going crazy there. But I don't even know where you fit that in because it's sad to say that. I mean, Jey Uso is. I don't see him main event or closing either night of WrestleMania. Are you still there with me, Jimmy? Or you froze? Or are you just a master of standing still? All right, hopefully my clock's still running. Jimmy's still there. I guess I don't know if I'm talking over him there. If I am, Jimmy, shoot me a message to shut up. If not, I can sit here and try to keep this ball rolling. Jimmy had to back out there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Super Bowl underway. Hey, we'll take a look at the game here. We're live recording coming at you. First quarter, 7:20 on the clock. Again, Kansas City Chiefs looking to make history 3 in a row, going for that three-peat. Here on defense right now, the Eagles trying to get a drive going here as each team has had an exchange of possession. So goose eggs on the scoreboard there. No score. 7:20 left in the first quarter as we're going. Jimmy and I just into that first segment there of recapping. Oh, Jimmy just set me up with a message. His PC reset. He'll be back here in just a minute. I'm on my phone here, so it's hard to see the chat, but I'm going to flip over to it, see what we got going on here. I'm not even sure how many that we have joining us here. I know we got Wolvers in the house, Colin. I know my boy Scotty Woodford was in there a little bit ago. I'm sure most people are at the game going to catch us on the replay here with this week's. Go back to the recording so I can check myself out here. A little different on the phone here. I kind of like it. Let's start using it. Just hook it up to my laptop. But yeah, we were talking about the open there for SmackDown as we get our main event set up for the evening. Jimmy's got the notes, so I don't know where we're at in the show. Wait a minute. What we got here? Something happened on the big screen. TD first to strike in the Super Bowl. You probably didn't know this because you're watching it and you're catching us on the record. But first to strike, hey, if you had that on your bingo card over at DraftKings or whatever your betting outlet is, all the fun prop bets, I put a few down. Each and every year I do at least $25 on heads. So I got to go back and see if I won that. Also did orange Gatorade. for the celebration bath at the end. And then I did a combo score pack. 1 touchdown. I need Hurts to score 1, and Barkley, I need him to get 2 touchdowns. There's 3. I need at least 3 Eagles touchdowns out of them. That one was not one of them there. Anytime touchdowns for those guys for a little TD parlay that I got going on. I'm looking forward to that. But Jimmy T is going to be back here in just a minute, guys. We continue to roll on. Smack Attack. This week's Super Sunday edition. Lots of good eats. I need him to get back here because I've got it. Hopefully the timing I got right to be delivered here for halftime in honor of hashtag RBV Eats Out, honor of Philadelphia, little Philly cheesesteak. Got it loaded up. Got it with the onions. Did a combo cheese. I did an American cheese and a provolone blend. Again, I got that with onion, that little mushroom, little banana peppers in there, mayo, stuffed it, extra meat. Looking forward to that one, man. Nothing against Kansas City and the barbecue, but was just feeling a little bit more for the Philly cheesesteak here for the Super Bowl. Got a round of commercials coming at you here. What's the same? Paying for this ad here. What is this? Into it? I saw this one earlier over on Animal Planet. They're in the Puppy Bowl. Oh, it was homes.com. Yeah, that's nothing special. Saw that one earlier. Yeah, again, just going to wrap up football for the NFL season. It's going to be a little different, going out on the weekends throughout the week without some kind of football. Again, we got the UFL starting up next week. The Rocks League is going to be back in action. Spring football. Their first year combined with the USFL as their merger came. So if those guys can hold it together, best of luck to their league. Going to check it out a little bit. Going to give it a shot. And we got NASCAR coming underway. College basketball starting to heat up as the hoops action. So we're rolling towards the end of the regular season. Going to have conference tournament and, of course, March Madness right around the corner. Always a great time for sports. Again, racing. I think we got about a month for open wheel. NASCAR's going to be getting at it in a week or two there with Daytona. NBA All-Star Weekend next week. Little interesting. Always cool to see the interaction for these big events, especially here tonight with the Super Bowl, to see if we get any spottings from some WWE superstars that are regularly involved there. They're going to be. They probably got them ready to go to give out those championship belts. Brotherly shove. They did not give him the touchdown. So now we got brotherly shove from the goal line. Love this gimmick here from the Eagles. They come loaded. Hey, how about that for my parlay? That's even better because Hurts goes in. There is my one time needed to score from Jalen Hurts. Now I just need 2 from Barkley to hit that scoring parlay. Jimmy T is back. I was keeping everybody entertained with just some football talk.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. Sorry about that. My computer crashed for some freaking weird reason. That's twice. It seems when I'm streaming, I'm using my desktop for reasons. Like I said, my computers, I need to reformat it, man. It is what it is. But what is the scores right now on in the Super Bowl? Still,
Eagles just went on as we're recording here. Eagles just went in. They're up 6-0, looking to add the extra point, so that'll be 7-0. But to get back to what we were at here, we just opening segment there for SmackDown. We have got our main event set. It's going to be Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu versus one of the number one contenders, the Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso, and his old partner, former tag team champions together. The WWE Universal Unified Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes, right?
It's the WWE Universal Championship.
Okay.
Or something like that. Anyway, and I just want to thank also Labrat. Dude, you're the man as well. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
With the $5 super chat. Yeah, man. It's raining. It's raining today. So thank you very much, dude. I appreciate that. And so where were we? We got off to the next matchup because next, and it is our first match, it is Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven for an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. There's not really much to really say about this match other than Bianca Belair wins via the KOD, qualifying for the Women's Elimination Chamber match in the typical television type of match.
Yeah, here's one thing, and I remarked about this over in a chat, an HMG chat. This big deal that they try to make with Piper Niven? What a huge miss they've had with her. I thought there was so much money on her, but they try to put this over, and no one's buying this anymore. That she gets picked up, she gets slammed. The eat the feet, whatever the hell it is. What is it? The KOD, whatever she calls her move there. They do this every week. We see her picked up and slammed by someone every week. It is no longer over. It is no longer impressive. No one cares. I think this is an okay little opening match, to get things going, to get the crowd hyped back up after a long-winded open talking segment. Belair's over. People love to get up and do a little dance with her. She gets people excited. It is what it is. Hey, Chelsea Green is absolute money. No complaint here. Do not cover up that beautiful body with that big old championship title.
Dude. Look,
let's see that midsection, baby.
She's probably got the best set of legs out of all the women right now in terms of just, she's got a perfect structure, man. She's not like fat. She's not too skinny. She's just
she puts that work in. She puts that work in. She got great. She puts that work in.
And she's definitely earned her spot, man, as the very first women's United States champion, and I'm happy for her, man, because she's been grinding for years. So good on her, man. But as we were saying, Bianca Belair does win via KOD, qualifying for the Elimination Chamber match. But next we see Carmelo Hayes is in Nick Aldis's office. He says unless this is about an opportunity, he doesn't want to hear it. Aldis then goes on to say that Adam Pearce has a raw talent that he wants Hayes to wrestle. Mello is upset, and then we see Akira Tozawa walking in. Nick explains that since Mello cost him his spot at the Royal Rumble and thus potentially the main event of WrestleMania, it's only fair that they wrestle. Hayes changes his tune and then claims it's going to be a layup, to which Akira says, it's an airball. And Mello sputters and leaves. And I guess that sets up that matchup for a bit later on. But next, it is DIY making their entrance, and this is kind of funny, but Johnny Gargano says they beat Motor City Machine Guns twice at Royal Rumble, and that makes them the best tag team in the world. Tommaso Ciampa then adds that it's safe to say that the chances of the Mini City Machine Guns, I call them these days, even holding the tag titles again are officially dead. And it's hard because they have nothing but respect for those two independent legends. It's a bit of a slap, bit of it was a compliment, but a backhanded compliment. And 11 years ago, they were their favorite tag team. They lead us all in standing up, taking our hats off and bowing our heads in silence. But then as he says that, enter Pretty Deadly. Yes, boys. Who want recognition for everything they've done to help DIY keep their titles. And then DIY obviously cuts them off. Then Nick Aldis comes to the ring and says, with all of DIY's shenanigans lately, they don't get a say in what happens with the tag titles. And if Pretty Deadly want a title shot, he'll give him a chance if they can beat DIY right after the break, right now. And that's it. We get the match. And funny enough, Pretty Deadly do win via pinfall with an O'Connor roll and a hand on the ropes from Elton Prince on Tommaso Ciampa, earning themselves a future tag team match. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen. I'm assuming maybe this week, but maybe not. I'm not sure. But was this the right thing to do? And do they have a chance at actually getting those tag bouts? I personally think they probably won't, but I guess they're starting to use them again. I mean, they've started and stopped with these guys so many times. And funny enough, one of them actually said that was the NXT championship belts, but it's not the NXT tag team championships. They're the WWE tag team championships. So yeah, just wanted to point that out.
This segment all the way around, from start through the break, through the match, what's wrong with professional wrestling right now? What's turning people off? Going back to what I said, why we need to reimagine how we present things here. DIY themselves out there. No reaction from the crowd.
None.
Completely
Zero.
Nonsense talking segment. But we didn't need the interruption from Pretty Deadly. You don't need the random pop in from the GM to set up the match here. Go ahead, just be straightforward to the point on this thing. If you need this tag match to eat some time up here, you're trying to set something up for, again, I think, as you said, I don't think we should put any stock in for a long-term push behind Pretty Deadly. This is filler. They've got a lot of time, a lot of undercard that they need to fill between now and WrestleMania. As we mentioned earlier, again, still under the Triple H regime, we are not really behind, fully invested, serious about a tag division. Very simple, would have been fine here. Just announce, hey, tonight we've got a non-title, one of those kind of proving ground sort of matches that we see across the board
matches, though, really.
In pro wrestling. Have DIY making their entrance. Give me a picture-in-picture like the old days where you have that little box and you have those guys cut their little condense what they're saying there on their way to the ring. Have those guys cutting it from the back. They get in. Then you go to the break. Even on the break, when I come back from the break, I want Pretty Deadly in the ring. I don't need their entrance. Now we've cut out all this. We've cut all that out. All that dead time we have cut out. Have a match between those guys, one-on-one, which completely is unnecessary. These stupid proving ground matches where the champions lose to set up a future title opportunity where they always seemingly go over. If you need something to come back with a second round, up the ante a little bit, put the belts in the line, give us a no finish. Throw this thing out. Have some kind of DQ. Have DIY get frustrated with something and intentionally get disqualified. Then announce later, hey, coming on. You guys lost your cool, blew your tops, took the easy way out. I'm going to give Pretty Deadly a rematch, but this time those titles are on the line. We're going to do it at the chamber, on the undercard, whatever the case might be. That's how you lay that out instead of downgrading, embarrassing your champs, and killing momentum in the show with all this useless talking with individuals that have no business being out there in front of a live audience with a microphone.
Yes, boy.
That's what I think. Zane Vicious says, stop acting like the Super Bowl ain't on. Actually, if you were on earlier, you doofus, you would have actually been seeing that Rick has been talking about it the whole time. Just saying.
Yes. Hey, we do appreciate you taking time to drop us a comment to let us know the Super Bowl's on.
Oh, no, I'm fucking with you. Me and him fuck around with each other. Don't worry. I don't just do that. Yeah. I don't just I don't just call random people doofuses, obviously.
No, who was it? I don't know who it
Zane
was.
Vicious. It was Zane Vicious.
Okay. Oh, Zane. Okay.
He calls himself
the master and ruler of the
yeah. Use it. What's weird with the setup here? Using my phone, I don't have the chat readily available. I have to switch screens on it. So really? So it's kind of different there. So I'm relying on you to give us all those gems with a few individuals that are joining us here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyway, as we said, Pretty Deadly get their shot whenever that is. I'm not sure if it's next week, the week after, or at an Elimination Chamber. Nevertheless, they've got a guaranteed tag team championship match whenever. But as we come back from a break, we see Andrade saying he did learn a lot from him. He's talking about The Miz because we see The Miz at the back also. And in fact, he also learned how to beat him. And then we see Cody Rhodes rolling up, and Miz complains about the kids these days and says he'll always have Cody's back. Rhodes says he doesn't need him to have his back, and Miz says he gets it. It's WrestleMania season, and last year everyone was behind him, but now they're all behind Jey Uso. And he thinks Uso/Rhodes is a hell of a story. What do you think about this little interaction, Rick? Anything to say about this? Or
we've got some different gears turning. The major point there is people just dogging on Miz. We're getting a different direction with him here. It's real quick. It's in and out. Again, you're telling you're moving forward a few different stories.
Colin Wise song saying Zane Vicious is watching a General Hospital marathon.
Hey, this afternoon I was hooked on. I'll admit it here. I didn't watch a lot of pregame. I did watch Puppy Bowl, but outside of that, I spent my day watching Love After Lockup, which is about people that get out of jail and are in relationships, which is a whole other thing.
It was a wrestling movie for a second, Rick. Life after the lockup.
Love after lockup. Yeah, hey, that could be Andrade in Charlotte, right?
Well, dude, I hate to say, I know you're
not so much love after lockup.
Yeah. Actually, I'll talk to you about that when we get there, because we all know that you're her biggest fan, pretty much, of the cha-cha. But Sonic the Hedge Rat says, boo, DIY, I did it myself when I turned off the TV. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, that was bad. That was a bad promo. They were begging to try to get a reaction out of that audience, and Memphis is usually pretty hot. So,
absolutely. Well, let's get to the next segment or match. Well, we get a recap of John Cena declaring himself for the Elimination Chamber. Cool. Then we see Drew McIntyre making his entrance and gets on the mic. He says, "Screw Raw. He's officially back on SmackDown." And after he got eliminated in the Royal Rumble, he was pretty angry and he drove back to Nashville and slept on his own bed, full of rage. And then he had clarity and got out of his bag, got out of his big bed next to his hot wife and looked in the mirror and said, "My God, you're jacked and handsome. Drew, why are you so upset?" He blames a hostile working environment at Raw for his attitude of last year or so and says Adam Pearce is incompetent. But he and Nick Aldis have been friends since they were teenagers, and now he'll be able to be unleashed 100%, and that's why he's on SmackDown now. And he's also here for Cody, or more specifically, what he's got that was stolen from him, the WWE Championship. But next thing you know, we see Jim Uso making his way to the ring. He says Drew's out here living in the past every week, sounding like an ex-girlfriend. With all his complaining, nobody stole anything from him. He lost. He's standing out here acting like he doesn't have to go through him and LA Knight to earn his spot. Drew says that's cool, but he's not angry about this stuff anymore. He's a different man. He calls him and Jay before correcting himself, saying that must eat him up inside that he called him Jay. They're so similar, and maybe he'd be where Jay is if he had just said yeet. Well, maybe. Uso says he doesn't understand. He's the big brother. He can say yeet. He can say no yeet. He's going to go to Vegas and cash his chips in. And he's living in the present. And he's going to kick Drew's ass and go to WrestleMania. But then we see LA Knight making his entrance. And he says he wants to effect good change in his life. So he wants to speak to all the men and boys here around the world. And if something arises in your life and it hits your feels and you want to cry, let it out. It's not bad to cry. It doesn't make you any less of a man. But there's a line where it becomes too much. And then he says, there are 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Drew McIntyre crying like a baby. He calls him Drew McIntyre, as a matter of fact. And yeah, that's it. And apparently that was a reference to the heat at Royal Rumble that Drew apparently had with LA Knight. As a matter of fact, Rick, people literally think that they were shooting on each other in this match, and they so were not fucking shooting in this match.
I know.
I don't know why the IWC are so dumb sometimes. They definitely weren't shooting, and this is all just a friggin' work.
Well, I think what's great about that, I did love. I popped when he did the I got to get my shtick in. I got to get my stuff in. It popped me a little bit there. I like the roundabout way he covered his ass, and instead of calling someone a crier about their feelings.
Right.
Hey, mental health, it's okay to cry, but Drew McIntyre goes over the line.
And at first I was thinking, where was he going with that stuff? Why is he talking about mental health? You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell?
He's covered his ass for any backlash, because you get all this mental health talk, and, nowadays, which is important inside of itself. I know that firsthand right now, but, hey, this is the case. 3 guys are good on a microphone. I'm okay with them having time. Here's my problem here. Every segment, right? Because we even had some talking there from Chelsea beforehand. So every segment it has had live mic time that we do not need. I do not need all 3 of these competitors. Simple. I could see Drew here, do something to introduce him that, yes, he is now here on Raw. The LA Knight stuff, you're always going to go get that because it gets that crowd interaction, gets them hyped. Jimmy did a great job, just too much. We didn't need it getting into this triple threat. Did want to talk about how the IWC, the internet's just going, oh my God, what, is there actual heat? What is happening there? I think this is one of those things that there could have been one of those where the shoot becomes a work where Drew might have been a little peeved.
Basically. Right.
Drew might have been a little peeved about something at the Rumble, but that's basically what the Rumble match is. It's big spots. It's getting your shit in. It's getting pops and then crowning a winner at the end for someone to go to WrestleMania. If that's the case, hey, I'm for it. Those guys need something to do going to WrestleMania. I think it would be a fun undercard match to see Drew and LA Knight have those guys start an undercard program over on the Blue brand. They need some depth in their storylines over there, especially now that you're going to, we're going to talk about Kevin Owens. Is he going to be going to Raw, or him and Sami going to be going back and forth? What's the interaction going to be there? I like it. I'm more intrigued and interested in an LA Knight Drew McIntyre program than I am what we saw rumored between the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I think you're going to get a lot more substance and for the mileage on it out of Drew and LA Knight. Those guys are going to bring a lot of character. They're going to make it a lot of fun. Those guys can go to social media. They can go beyond just the confines of the weekly programming. It's nothing against Damian Priest. Great talent, great future out of him. He's not on that level yet to just bring you that full all-around entertainment experience. For an undercard program going into WrestleMania, I hope that's the direction they're going for. I'm looking forward to that. Match itself, fun little triple threat. Again, we know Drew was going into that Elimination Chamber. Looks like that match is going to be absolutely stacked with the current star power. So look forward to it. Sometimes even if the outcome's predictable, it's okay. It's about the journey, getting to the destination.
I think Drew will win that match. As a matter of fact, if
you think Drew's going to win the Elimination Chamber?
Oh no! I thought you meant if they had their WrestleMania match. Don't worry. No.
Okay. Him and LA Knight in a program. To me, it could go either way. Either one of those guys could come out on top in that thing. I just think the journey getting there, I think those guys would have a lot of fun with those two.
Plus, them two are good friends, man. That's another thing that people don't realize. Them two were even in the same faction in TNA, if you remember, years ago.
I see. I forgot about that.
Oh, really? Yeah, they were in the same faction, dude. They were both in the faction in TNA. I forgot what they were called, but I know they were together. And it was pretty funny at the time because, LA Knight is just something else. But, we'll see what happens there. I think WWE actually did all this on purpose to set up this match in the first place. It's their way of... Sorry?
I was going to say, this goes back, when we were talking before, kayfabe doesn't have to be dead. This is about... This is the evolve. Right. This is the evolve. This is where you got people thinking something's legit, where there could actually be some heat somewhere. And I think which could be so incredible with these two, because they are so all-around gifted and masters of their craft. These guys could have a lot of fun with this thing.
And they've been doing a lot of that, dude, away from television to set up things, right, where people are thinking it's legit. And that's what makes me laugh. And on top of that, but this is where I got pissed off about the Netflix debut of Raw at the start with the intro where they had the curtain and, it symbolized the curtain being pulled down all the way. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have done that only to still play that kayfabe way. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to do that, especially considering there would have been a lot of new eyeballs on the company who wouldn't have had a clue what the hell he was on about and what that meant. And with all the insider wrestling terms like friggin' heel, babyface, shoot, work. You don't say that with a lot of new eyeballs who have no idea what the hell that means. But anyway, that was then. Let's go back to now. So that leads us to the match between Drew, Jim Uso and LA Knight. And of course, Drew does win via the Claymore on LA Knight, qualifying for the Men's Royal Rumble match in a normal wrestling match that was not a shoot, for crying out loud, people. Jesus, watch it properly. There was no close fists. There's a lot of slaps going on. But anyway, next we see Damian Priest is interviewed backstage. He talks about the Elimination Chamber, but Braun Strowman then rolls up to tell him he shouldn't get ahead of himself because he's got to beat both him and Jacob Fatu in a qualifier first. Damian says he knows all, but he's going to win. Strowman says he doesn't think he fully understands that he's in the ring with who's in the ring with a wild animal and a monster next week. And that leads us to the break. Anything to say about this segment, Rick?
No, I'm looking forward to this match. That's my kind of wrestling. Some big heavyweights. You got the unpredictable, the wild animal in there. I was kind of surprised that they did introduce this one. That one of these three is going to get a shot to get inside of that chamber. I think it's really going to be, as we look for who's expected to win that thing. Just going over into triple threat, I think, is going to be another big stepping stone for Fatu. And then go in there and be one of those names, not win the chamber, but be one of those names that we're talking about. Like, okay, this is it. This dude has arrived.
Right, 100%, and it always seems to be the show to do it too for some reason. Like last year, it was Tiffy time. Literally, she made herself look like an absolute star, and then we were off to the races with her. And I think this year it's going to definitely be Jacob Fatu also. But Sonic the Hedgehog wants to know what happened to Drew's sword. That's a good question, actually. What did happen to the sword? I don't see it anymore.
Tucked it in and hit it, man.
He tucked it in, huh? It was too bloody big.
Yep.
What do you want to know about his sword, Sonic? I'm just asking for a friend, particularly. Anyway, let's go to another promo, Rick, because we see Kevin Owens sitting in his car.
Because we haven't had enough talking. I actually did like this one.
This was the best promo of the night, really. Kevin sends, in a promo from his car, I don't know how he sent it, but he did, about how he and Sammy have been through a lot, but nothing like Saturday. The scar on his face, the trauma on his neck and spine, the pain he feels now will probably never go away, and he'll have to live with that. And it's all Sammy's fault because he stood and just watched and done nothing. He calls Zayn a horrible friend and a disgusting human being. He'll never forgive him, but who he will make pay. Look, I like this promo, Rick. The problem with me is we've seen this one too many times at this point.
I've got you on that one. Let me talk about the promo itself, because this popped me a little bit personally. Because in promoting, when I send out, after I book somebody and okay, I need promos to be sent in, so we can send them to me before you release them, so we can get our branding on it, get our images, get show information on these things. We'll release them first, and then my number one rule is do not send me a freaking car promo. If you cannot take the time to shoot something outside of your car, you lazy ass independent pro wrestler, then I don't need you on my show. Which is funny enough because this is in a car.
Right.
This I like because it fits. It fits to the moment. It fits to the severity of how intense this thing is. What I would have liked to have seen is some footage of Kevin Owens after the attack on Monday, running from the arena, jumping in his car and taking off, and then be like, we've tried to catch up. Show even like one of the backstage interviewers, Kevin, can I have a word? He is bypassing them. He is in a rush. He is just so emotional, trying to get out of there. You see the car speeding off. Then later, he released this thing on social media. That's where they got it from, Jimmy. Show where he was.
Realize.
Yeah, show where down the road he stops off at he pulls off to the side of the road, maybe a truck stop, an abandoned, almost some kind of eerie spot where he has to pull over, and he sets up his cam and says emotions are running high. He has to get this off his chest. He has to tell us why he did what he just did so that he can continue. He's so worked up, so he has to tell us just so he can continue to drive home wherever he is going. That's so. Then go into the promo. I love the reasoning behind this thing. Like, son of a bitch, we're supposed to be brothers. This is one of my biggest moments, and your loyalty is still to this damn bloodline where it should have been us. No matter what we have been through, we have been the ones that have been through hell. But no, you haven't thought about me. Here's how you save this. I'm okay with these guys revisiting this thing one more time, but I want the ultimate stakes. I want everything on the line. We talked about it earlier, WrestleMania 7, one of my favorite matches of all time, Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior.
The retirement match?
To me, it was, yes.
That was brilliant, dude. Say what you will about Ultimate Warrior, but he worked his ass off that night too, even though it was more Macho Man.
The storytelling, Sherry Martel made that everything coming together was so magnificent inside of that thing. And I think you have got the history. You can bring the families. You can go back and tell the story of those two coming up. Tell the story of their wars together and against one another. But to ultimately make this thing mean something, we need career versus career. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Put it all on the line. The ultimate stakes. You can go to WrestleMania and challenge for a title, but even if you lose, you still have your job. Talking in the storyline.
Hypothetically, here. I get you, right?
Yes, everything is on the line with your career. You could lose it all. Put it all on the line with these two. Let the loser have some time off, go away. If it's Sammy, I think you could have a lot of fun this summer bringing back El Generico,
I was
selling
gonna
masks.
say that. I was gonna say that.
You
Absolutely.
could run
dude.
it back. You could run it back with him. If Kevin takes the loss, you can let him have some time off.
It makes sense with either one of them losing and taking time off. To be fair.
Yeah, but there's ways to bring them back into the fold at summertime to reintroduce them, to have a lot of fun with it. I'd have Sammy take it just to bring back the fun El Generico character, move that merchandise. There's just a lot of fun you can have with the damn thing. But those two going into WrestleMania, you want to get people really invested. You got to put the ultimate stakes on the line, career versus career.
And you know what? The Generico thing is good, especially if you play up where everyone knows it's Sami Zayn to say, right? But he's talking like Sammy, he's acting like Sammy, and Kevin Owens like, it's Sammy, like a conspiracy, you know what I mean? And everyone's looking at him like, nah, man, that's not Sammy, that's Generico. What are you talking about? Because I'm telling you, that's freaking Sammy.
Well,
but no one
what you
believes
could
him.
do as well in some weird way, because Hamid always talks about getting these wheels going with all these stories and you
Right.
having interaction here. Well, who do we got? We got Chad Gable, who's now out traveling the world looking for the ultimate luchador.
Yeah, what the
So
hell?
maybe
hey, man, you might be onto something actually.
maybe come spring summertime, a Chad Gable face turn where he did find the ultimate luchador and he went under his
Generico.
training and he has come back as El Generico, who was helping the children and has shown Chad Gable the righteous way to travel the road.
Right, but he has to run into him like unexpectedly almost, like, you know what I mean? Which would be funny. But you know what? Now that you've put all that together, it makes me think this is where they're going. But the problem is, Kevin Owens never set any stipulation. I don't know if he's going to do that as we, roll into.
Well, we got weeks. WrestleMania is not to the end of April. We got months.
They have to freaking do this. They have to. The way you wrote that out, and I just pictured it. I can just picture it. You know what I mean? It's going to be great if they go that way. It makes sense for everybody involved. And then once you brought up Gable, that convinced me now that that's where they're going. They have to be. Like it's
something fun you could do this summer with it to introduce them.
I mean, who else is Generico would make that damn impact? You know what I mean? I bet you this is the only show where anybody's brought that up. So thank you, RBV, for that, man, because no, really, no one else has said that, man, like at all, like other than you. And it made me think, like, you know what? That would be awesome. So once again,
there we go, baby. A super smack attack during the Super Bowl exclusive here.
Absolutely, that was great, man. And Zane, you're right. I forgot to mention, and I knew this before, but Elias signs with AEW, dude. What the hell?
Really?
Yeah, he's
that's an interesting signing there. We'll keep our eye on that.
His name's Elijah now, Rick.
Okay, Elijah.
Same gimmick, except he's part of the Righteous. The all white fools from Ring of Honor.
Okay. Oh, so he's working Ring of Honor stuff?
It seems like it for now, yeah. I mean,
okay.
I'm not sure if he's debuted or not, but I saw a vignette involving him with the other guys. He's in a stable, but we'll see. The thing is, what's his name?
It always surprises me now when I hear that AEW is signing people when they don't even know what to do with 75% of what they've got, already under contract.
They're going to do nothing with him. But, Joe Hendry, for example, is exactly what Elias was meant to be in WWE, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he just didn't have the charisma to pull it off. Right. You know what I mean?
I think there was so much there with Elias that they just dropped the ball with it there. And it was one of those big misses.
They really did. That's true. But by the end of it, he phoned it in himself too, man. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But
rumor is that he caught some heat because he was reaching out to Russo for some help on some stuff to pitch some things,
really?
And then they caught word that he might have been, asking for outside help. That's
interesting. Well, anyway, that leads us to the next matchup after that Kevin Owens little promo, because it is Akira Tozawa versus Mello. I felt this match should have been a total squash, and it wasn't. But nevertheless, Mello does win via pinfall with nothing but net to, settle this match. But I felt like Tozawa got way too much in.
Yeah, this should have been one of those quicker, just real quick filler matches. You're eating up some time here. I think looking at this thing with a lot of the talking time, they were really struggling just to get time in. See, I even watching this thing, I was like, all right, 2 hours. I was like, wait a minute, they still got to get some. This is just proof where it's difficult to get stuff in for a 3 hour program.
Yeah, and in SmackDown, it's become a slog now, man. With 3 hours, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a bad show this one compared to a few weeks before that, but sometimes it can feel like a real slog. But Jerome Hall says, "Hey, Jimmy T and RBV."
Yeah.
Hey, Jerome, thank you for joining us, man.
Joining us here, Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, Super Bowl smackATTACK. Special edition, absolutely. But yeah, let me go to the next segment.
The best part about this match and this segment was there was no talking.
No talking, just Mello getting his win in a match where he should have just squashed him, in my opinion, but he didn't. But still strong enough, I guess. As we come back from commercial, though, we see Jerry the King Lawler in the front row. Good to see him. It's been a long time. But next, we see R-Truth is helping Akira Tozawa in the back until he sees Jey Uso and literally drops him to run over and congratulate Uso on winning King of the Ring. Jey corrects him and tells him to go check on Tozawa, which Truth does with a cry of, he yeeted on himself. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Cody Rhodes then rolls up to check in, and Jey says he's still undecided, but who cares about that? Because next we have your favorite girl, not mine, but yours, in Cha-Cha, Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry, dude. She looks more like Cher every fucking week, dude. That plastic surgery that she's done to herself is totally ruined her, dude. She was much better looking long before this Botox and plastic surgery. I don't know. You know what went through my head, honestly, when I saw her? You're gonna hate me for this, but it was this.
Brother, what's that?
I mean,
what's that, brother?
That's what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
First off, bro, hashtag not my Shar Shar. All right, can I get that trending? Hashtag not my Shar Shar. I'm not here to body shame, and you see this. You see this across the board with these women that seem to become obsessed with a certain body image, and it'll go to there is no length that will stop them. They're trying to reach whatever projected image they have in their mind of what perfection is, and that's what's happened to her here. Charlotte Flair went from just a couple of years ago looking like a world-class star athlete.
For real,
had the frame for an incredible build, incredible athleticism, was on a completely different level from everyone else inside, not just this women's division in WWE, but women's wrestling. She looked like a legit professional athletic superstar. And now it's just a shell of that. And she just looks sickly. It's worrisome. I want to know who the hell in her life, in that locker room, is telling her that this looks good. She is. You can see her bones out there through her muscle.
Yeah.
It looks like she is aged incredibly. One of the biggest pops I got. I was scrolling through some stuff,
us. And we're older than her, for crying out loud. She legitimately looks older than us.
Someone on the X had a screenshot. There might have been a video of Charlotte, which I kind of, I liked her. Hey, you'll speak when I ask you to speak. Did you say something? But again, even her promo again here, we did not need this thing. This runs way too long. It's very robotic in her delivery through this thing. But someone had posted that they should run. The angle here should be that Charlotte is Tiffy's grandma. So that popped me a little bit. But even Stratton,
awesome.
even Stratton, who the hell is doing her makeup? Did they get like a T-shirt gun and just shoot her in the face with a color palette? I mean, her high cheekbones are all lit up. where she should be out there now. She should be presented. And again, all around. So we saw Charlotte. She comes out Monday.
She got
and she's
booed out of the
talking to
building.
Rhea. Boot out of the building. She gets a mixed reaction Tuesday at NXT.
Yeah.
And she's going down there to see
Even on
Julia.
SmackDown.
And SmackDown, a little bit of a mixed reaction. She says, "Hey, what's it going to be? Is this the day that you love me, you hate me?" Something a little off in the delivery. Again, drawn out. We got Jay in the building. This is another where we need a new approach to how we're writing these programs. It's every year. Oh, the Royal Rumble winners got to make their grand tour, and these fucking stupid teases about who they're going to face. Here's one thing. I was thinking about this during this segment. Has anyone, a Royal Rumble winner, waited till after Elimination Chamber to announce who they're going after? So even the Chamber winner doesn't know who they're going to get. So they're like going to get the leftovers. You know what I'm saying?
Question. I'm trying to think. Usually they do.
They usually choose who they want before, so we know who the Chamber winners are going to be facing.
Exactly. Right. And I don't think they've ever gone the other way. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So so for example here, because I know we're going to get we have a women's chamber. So you could have Charlotte say, you know what? I'm going to invite the chamber winner and all the champs to Monday Night Raw the night after the chamber, and we'll sort this thing out. Maybe that could be something a little different, but you get this. I got to make the rounds. I've got to talk to all these people. Now, here is something that I think would be interesting. I don't think it should be the challenge by any means. But is Tessa the knockout champ?
Yes. Right now, yes.
Didn't she take that off Grace? Grace is on her way to NXT.
Absolutely.
That would be a little interesting to see Charlotte go there and just tease, just to give us a face-to-face with the two daughters of the Horsemen.
Ooh.
To see Tessa.
Booze, though. Wow.
Hey, you know what?
Both of them, though.
I'd team them up. You got this crossover thing. I would team those two up. Just have some random casual interaction between those
like
two.
Like the new Moolah and what's her name?
Well, except for the sex trafficking and the pimping of the girls, yes.
Oh no, no, definitely not. But we could have a new Moolah and Mae Young combination again with Cha Cha and.
Well, yeah. With the amount of work that each of them have had to their face, they look like Moolah and fucking Mae Young. And I'm not talking when they're alive. I'm talking right now as they're decrepitating in the ground there.
You know what was even worse? I don't know if you noticed, but I did and someone else did. Oh, it was Ray. It was only me and Ray that actually noticed this out of all of us. But it stood out, dude. At the Rumble, you saw what Cha Cha was wearing, obviously, right?
Yes.
Did you notice anything with what she was wearing?
I don't know what the straps. I know that I saw on the X that she had like a little malfunction backstage where fucking hooch was popping out or something.
Dude, she's become that much boned, right? That, the G-string part of what she was kind of wearing, that's supposed to go right up her backside. But that thing was sagging, dude. It was like she was wearing shit catchers.
Yeah. She has no backside.
Dude, it was bad.
Has no backside, so she's in a bad state. Again, hashtag not my Char. She was an incredible looking athlete, and sadly,
she's still a great athlete.
Is the body going to hold up? I mean, is it going to look the same? I don't. We're going to see. Time will tell when she gets in there and she's got to put on a show. Is she still that caliber where she is heads above everybody else? So. Who do you think is Tiffy the right competitor? Is that the right challenge for her, or do you go back and revisit the story with her and Ripley?
See, personally, I would revisit the Ripley and Charlotte little feud because there's already a story there. There's already that history. But in saying that, a lot of people think she's going to choose Tiffy because it's the more intriguing matchup. You know what I mean, between the two of them. But the thing is, Cha Cha is very vocal about her. Her.
Oh, let's not forget. In the useless talking, we get Nia out here, who does let us know that next week it's going to be Nia versus Tiffy time. So this could be all for nothing. We could have a new champ as Nia Jax next week.
I think we'll get a triple threat match at WrestleMania between these three lovely ladies. In my opinion, I feel like it's going to go that way. You don't think so?
You don't need. I don't think you need to over. I'm going to say pollute this thing. You don't need to do it. Just give us straight one-on-one matches. We're not going to be missing anything if Nia misses, a match at WrestleMania. So I hope not.
Dave,
no cheeks.
I'll get to him in a second. Jerome Hall says no cheeks. Yeah, she's like an inverted asshole. Literally, like there's two legs, and that's it. It's like she's got no butt, man. I mean, yeah, that's why. And Andrade and her just got divorced again, apparently, right?
Yeah, is it finalized? I know she had filed, so I saw some stuff about that.
I have no idea, but I bet you he wears his mask every time he's with Cha-Cha these days. You know what I mean? He must be like, I don't like this.
She should be wearing. At this point she should be wearing a mask.
Man, she's all tailbone according to Jerome Hall.
Yep.
But Zane wants to know though, Rick, who is more racist between Charlotte and what's her name? The Knockouts
Tessa.
champion. Fuck yeah, Tiffany.
Well, they both were married and have ditched Hispanic husbands. So
one was a reptilian too.
Yeah, so
she likes snakes. Anyway, well, they both do. It seems like. Oh no, Gam. Gam says also in the chat, rest in peace to my idea of turning Andrade into a Mexican Ric Flair. No, we need him to be Puerto Rican so he can be like, Wepa, instead of woo.
There we go.
You know what? I do have CTE. I've had multiple concussions in my time, Zane. Don't make me call you the, you know what I'm talking about, right? You don't want me to go.
The master and ruler of my balls.
Just saying. It's a little joke. But Colin thinks it's probably Tessa the more racist one. It's safe to say, I guess. You know what I mean? She's just
I don't think Charlotte's been dropping any N-bombs anywhere, so.
Nah. But Flair, this is another thing I want to say before we move on and we're near the end. I don't understand why the African-American culture embraces Ric Flair, man. Because he's known to be one of the most
They love him. He's out there living the dream, man. He's out there living the dream. They love him.
But yeah, he was racist. Everyone knows how racist he was, man. And now we're going to celebrate this guy? Like, I just don't get it. I love Ric Flair Drip, the song, by the way. But come on, man. Anyway, Colin also says, nah, Charlotte's dropping them in private, probably in the bedroom. Oh, God. She also did do a cob. Also, Zane. Anyway, this is getting a lot of feedback in the chat, but let's get back to SmackDown, shall we? I'm not going to get into all the promo, but it was typical. It was almost a repeat of Monday night without the full-blown booze. And we also get, Candice LeRae. And unfortunately for us, we had to see, well, for me anyway, we had to see Candice LeRae in a match. I can't stand her. But the good news is it's Alexa Bliss she's facing in an Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup. And, Alexis, I'm glad she's back. And this was a quick match because Bliss does win via pinfall with a square hammer DDT. Are you happy for Alexa Bliss being back, Rick?
I got to be honest with you. This match itself, I got through most of the promo, so much talking. I flipped away from this match. I had zero interest in this thing. I'm not a big.
I walked away after the promo. I was just listening to the show after that. That's the main event.
Actually, when I flipped away is when I stumbled upon Love After Lockup, which I started watching last night and then continued when I woke up this morning because I knew they were running a marathon. Hey, you know me, man. I love talking to business, the marketing standpoint. Why I'm not necessarily a big fan of Bliss myself. I see the tremendous value in her return. I know there's great marketing. She has an incredible fan base. She is over with the people. You can move so much merch with her. There's so much potential. So it is a big deal for her to be back in the fold for the company.
Absolutely, man. Well said. Well put. Let's go to the next matchup because it is the main event. And well, before we do get there was a little interview with Byron Saxton and the Mini City Machine Guns backstage. But before they could say much of anything,
This is where Lopez was in there before they, and now she's apparently future endeavored.
She's future endeavored, yeah. I can't believe it.
Okay.
But yeah, we see Los Lethargicos roll up. That's what I like calling him, even though they're called Los Garza now. Maybe they heard me say it too much. Who knows? So they changed the name. They roll up and it becomes a big argument and challenges are issued and accepted. And cool, I guess. We'll wait and see what happens there. But main event, Jey Uso then makes his entrance as we go to the break. And that leads us to the main event of the evening between the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and, of course, main event Jey Uso versus the Samoan Werewolf in Jacob Fatu. And, of course, the crazy Tongan in Tama Tonga. I was expecting so much more in this match, but this didn't really go for that long. And Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso do win via the crossroads from Rhodes on Tama Tonga. But the shocker was Solo Sikoa runs in out of nowhere and hits a Samoan spike on Cody to end the show. I guess he's back, but where are we going with this new bloodline thing still? Is Solo still going to be the leader? What's going on here?
I like that. I think that's the intrigue there. Did they know Solo was going to be there? Is he back operating on his own? Is he going to claim, leadership back over the group? Are they going to be more of an evenly distributed faction? Inside the match itself, I was surprised they didn't tease a little bit more, like maybe some miscommunication. It was almost as Cody and Jay were working too well together. Where we could have got that tease.
They do have good chemistry, though.
I understand, former champs, you play to that, but you have a miscue in there, which leads us, to really question who is Jay going to challenge? Does he want Cody?
None of that.
There was none of that inside of there. The other story they were telling inside of this match is how unstoppable Jacob Fatu is.
As they should, and they're really being putting him over.
You get that. You got a top rope Cody cutter. And, they're Wade's putting over, oh my God, he kicks out at one. That works with an unstoppable animal. If for years you have not desensitized us and trained us, it's not a big deal to see someone kick out of anything at one.
Well, no, absolutely.
They are trying to, really put him over as this unstoppable monster. I get it. I love it. That's what he is. But when we regularly see it nonstop, there are no sacred moves left. It's kind of hard to buy into somebody being unique in the sense that they can't be held down when everybody kicks out of everything.
Unfortunately, that's professional wrestling of today. It is what it is. I mean, I know it sucks in that sense. I don't know how you would actually try to roll that back. I guess
outside of like bringing out a freaking shotgun and shooting him in the face and he no-sells it, like Terminators.
Imagine that. He's Samoan.
Right.
You know what they say about Islanders, dude. Come on. You never punch them in the head. That's why Roddy Piper used a coconut, if you know what I mean. Because, the joke, they're coconut heads, apparently. That's the joke. Haha, we get it. But they really do have hard heads. You know what I mean? I'm friends with a lot of Samoans down here, man. Two of my best friends are Samoans, funny enough. But it's true, man. Those guys in a fight, forget it, man. They're your best friends. But if you piss them off, dude, forget about it. There's something else. But they're the nicest people, bro. I truly mean that. It's Tongans that I get scared of. They're nutcases. All the Tongans that I know, they're just complete nutcases. But anyway, in saying that was SmackDown. Where we go from here, we Solo. We'll wait and see what happens. I hope Jacob kind of does put his foot down, to be honest, man. You know what I mean? And sort of get that authority.
It'll be interesting to see, where those guys are going. And I know this was a kind of a bland week for WWE. As we said, a lot of talking on this show. Filler. We got to say, we have got a lot of time for WrestleMania, and we've still got 3 weeks before the Elimination Chamber, right? Isn't that like March 1st or something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it's held in Canada, of course, at Toronto, at the Rogers Centre. As a matter of fact, are they trying to build Elimination Chamber as one of the big pay-per-views now? I mean, it does have a lot of implications, obviously, leading into WrestleMania.
You know what? I with that being in Canada and Toronto, I hope they don't waste Sammy and Kevin there.
Oh, yes. Come on. That's what they have to do it there. Now that you said that, I forgot too.
Man, I don't know. Maybe I'd do something with them there, but I'd hold off if they would go the route, which I think has to be the end all be all, the biggest stakes possible. The retirement, you got to save that for WrestleMania. But those two are going to be a big draw. There's got to be something there for those guys advertised because they'll go crazy there. In addition to those chamber matches.
See, and that's the thing. I totally forgot that it was in Canada. But now that that we brought that up, they're surely going to have that match in Canada. I mean, why wouldn't you at this point, since it is held there?
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, there is a lot of time left on this road to WrestleMania.
Well, Rick, I think we can take it home, man. It is Super Bowl evening. It seems like the Phillies absolutely dominating, aren't they?
17-0 as we approach the 2-minute warning on our record time here. But yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll take it home. I'm gonna get ready. My cheesesteak is on the way, so perfect timing here, brother. Hey, what a fun Super Bowl for me! Hanging out with Jimmy T, talking some WWE, and then I got to do some freaking laundry, man.
Oh, me too, actually. Now that you said that, absolutely do as well. And man, feel free to join us also next week if you like, Rick. The door's always open with you.
I don't think I have anything going Saturday or Sunday next week, so I might do that.
Saturday morning. Generally, we go live, 11 a.m. Eastern, Saturday mornings for the smackATTACK. So hopefully you are around. It'll be great if you are. But that's the end of the show. But before we do go, Rick, tell them what you're doing and what you're up to, man. And
I don't have anything going on. All right, you can find me right here, HMG. Socials, whatever, man. You know where I'm at. Hashtag RBV eats out. One more time. Hey, do us a favor. We know if you're with us right now, you've probably already done it. You're a good hot mean soldier. You smash that subscribe. You give us a follow. You're getting all those alerts. Hey, make sure you're sharing our content. Help us spread the good word out there.
Absolutely.
Kaz working hard, clipping those shows. Not this show, but he clips the other shows. But hey, maybe we'll get somebody. Hey, if you're out there, you want to join the team, you want to help us clip some stuff from I Like It Raw, from Next Level, from smackATTACK, from the Impact Attack, any of our programs. You want to help us out with some clips? Let us know. We'll get you the artwork. We'll give you the credits. We'll get you the credentials. We just want to spread the good word of the HMG. And
yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for actually getting us monetized for once too. So. If it wasn't for everybody, in the chat and everybody else that's listening or watching, we couldn't have done it without y'all. And thank you to everyone that's been giving us the super chats, man. We really appreciate it. Thank you once again to Scotty Woodford and Labrat. And also Cold Blooded, man. He's been giving us money every show, every week, just constantly.
Cold Blooded.
Yeah, Cold Blooded is cold, man. He's getting people heat because of him. Which is funny because everyone's like, oh, you're giving us heat. But it's all right because all you guys are, giving us all sorts of things and we really appreciate it. But if you want to follow me, you can on the Twitter, but I won't interact with you. And that's another reason why Kaz hasn't been doing shit with us because usually he does. But I can't interact on Twitter because the motherfuckers that Elon friggin' owns, all right, apparently someone tried logging into my account, so I had to verify that it's me. But I've changed my cell number, and I can't verify it's me. So they've locked me out of my fucking account. I did nothing wrong, dude. You know what I mean? And now it's been I can't get back. They're telling me I can't prove it. They won't let me. So fuck you, X, Twitter or whatever, and Elon, you prick. Let me back into. It's like I'm getting blamed for something I didn't do. Whatever, man. Yep. It is what it is. It sucks, but, it is what it is. But also, please like and subscribe, as Rick said, right here at Hameen Media Group's YouTube channel. And, of course, even on the Podbean at hameenmediagroup.podbean.com for all our affiliate shows. But most importantly, channelattitude.com, where for $5, not only do you get the realest talk, but the best talk in all of professional wrestling. And it's only $5. So don't be tight. $5. And that's about it, man. So in saying that, I am your host, Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the R to the B to the V in Richard Bronson Vickery. And you've been listening and watching the Super Bowl edition of the smackATTACK right here on Hameen Media Group's YouTube channel and channelattitude.com after the fact. And we're out. Peace.